All right, guys. So we talked about Star Trek. We talked about Marvel. Now let's talk about Star Wars. In particular, we've got some new details about the new Jedi Order movie that's coming down the pipeline. And it's exactly what you think it is. So basically, there was a casting call put out in some trade, Production Weekly, and it gave us our first look into this actual storyline of the Daisy Ridley headlining Star Wars: The New Jedi Order. So here's the synopsis, right? Set roughly 15 years after Rey's victory over Palpatine and the end of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, the sequel delves into Rey's courageous endeavor to restore the Jedi Order, where she assumes the role of a mentor to two promising young students, a girl and a boy. As their training progresses, it becomes evident that the girl possesses extraordinary abilities destined to emerge as the future leader. And I can guarantee you that the boy turns to the dark side, and he's the bad guy.
Why is it the girl? Why does the girl get all the powers?
Exactly? But
Hollywood.
It's the Force is female. It's Kathleen Kennedy's feminist agenda going on here. But this is the first truly kind of like hardcore description that we've gotten from the storyline, which is being written by Stephen S. DeKnight, who does Peaky Blinders. He was also the creator of the Apple TV series C. So I wanted to get your guys' take on this. Gary, what's your take on this outline for the new Jedi Order?
If it's true, which I'm not sure it is, but if it's true, I could totally believe it. I mean, like, could we not? Like, this sounds really accurate. It hits all the beats.
It does.
It's all the beats of Disney Star Wars. And listen, I don't usually like to say this, but I mean, I like to have job security. I do. And sounds like job security to me.
Exactly.
You know? So bring it. I am for acceleration. I want this to happen. I want them to do 3 Phoebe Waller-Bridge Indiana Jones films.
Yes.
I want them to do 5 seasons of She-Hulk. Bring it on. Do it.
So you're like Emperor Palpatine. Yes.
Yeah.
Feel it.
It's on fire. Let's go.
Make your terrible stuff so we can talk about it.
Things need to hit bottom before they change, and that will accelerate the descent to the bottom. And that's all we can hope for now. It is way past the point of no return. Way past.
Matt Vader 74. What's your take on this plot leak from the Acolyte?
I can't add anything to what Gary said. It sounds perfectly accurate for what we've gotten so far. It's dripping with Kathleen Kennedy and her Forces female bullshit. It's just I'd say it sounds like they're right in line with what they've done before. You know, what else can you say? Let's see it so we can keep our YouTube channels going, I guess, right? So why not?
Shane, there seems to be this trend in like genres that typically women don't like to watch, like science fiction, fantasy, stuff like that. It's typically a male-oriented genre where the people in charge seem to be, really pushing female protagonists over the males, which, isn't terrible as long as like the characters are good. But we've had multiple instances of bad female lead characters in these situations. And it almost sounds like that they're positioning this to have like a Daisy Ridley replacement that they can kind of go forward with. So what's your take on this, feminization of Star Wars and Hollywood in general?
Well, I think what Gary said was right. We now need to make a mad dash for the bottom so that there can be some correction. I am obviously constantly fighting for a lack of job security because I want everything to be good. But, there comes to a point where there's a tipping point. And I think we're there. A really important person who works in the industry once told me that they cannot they can't do anything bad with women in these movies and these TV shows. They just can't. There's a pushback. I mean, look at any show. When was the last time you saw a woman in a role where she was the butt of the joke or was the problem or the bad person? It just doesn't exist. Even this last Star Trek episode we were talking about, like the courtroom drama, they had a bunch of women, in the show. The one guy they brought in to do it was the idiot who sat next to Una and said, "Oh, you should take the plea deal." And she's like, "Can't we talk about this in private?" He was a complete idiot. They can't hire a woman to be in that role because they can't talk down to women. And so what happens, they're stuck. They're just, and all these showrunners and all these people are stuck if they want to keep working, because the moment they start putting women in a bad spot is the moment they don't get hired to do more jobs. And in this situation with this Rey thing, I mean, it's just so typical. I mean, I don't want to see Rey come back. I didn't care about it in the last movies, but having her come back and training up a new girl to be a new, girl boss or whatever you want to call them is just another way for them to go. Honestly, I doubt if they even get there.
Yeah.
If this film even gets made, I'll be shocked. I'm still waiting to see what happens with the prequel they're doing, and we'll see where that goes.
Maybe they'll set the movie. Maybe she'll take the two kids to Jack Black and Lizzo's planet, and she can set up the new.
And Lizzo will eat them.
Yeah, they can do the new training academy there, under the big bubble with all the droids. That'd be cool.
God, I hope the young lady's a brunette British woman. More inclusivity. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah,
Indeed.
They're a meme right now. Like, even the Access media is like, we'll see if these movies get made. Yeah, it's such a joke,
Dude, it's weird seeing the Access media actually tell the truth for once when it comes to these things. Like it really is kind of like a weird reversal. But speaking of radical feminists and Star Wars, let's talk about the news about Leslye Headland potentially being fired from Lucasfilm.
former Harvey Weinstein assistant.
Her show, The Acolyte, canceled. So Leslye Headland, who is a well-known lesbian radical feminist, she came out against George Lucas, called Star Wars patriarchal. And she was also the enabler of Harvey Weinstein, one of the biggest, terrible people in Hollywood. She came out, or I should say Doomcock and Cameron Pasha came out recently with this inside scoop that Leslye Headland has been unceremoniously fired from Lucasfilm, and that her show, The Acolyte, is now in kind of like a weird limbo where it's sort of canceled, but it's already been shot, so it's sort of not. So nobody knows what's going to happen with this show, but they do know that going forward, Leslye Headland is not going to be associated with Lucasfilm. And, with the recent kind of justification of Indiana Jones 5, where Doomcock was proven right on a lot of like his reporting, and I trust Cameron Pasha's reporting because he's a guy with integrity, and Cameron doesn't BS, right? So like if his source that he trusts is telling him that Leslye Headland's out at Lucasfilm, I tend to believe it. And it's kind of funny because this firing comes right after the big revelation that the first trans actress, aka a man, is going to be headlining one of the major characters in The Acolyte. So you have all of Leslye Headland's kind of like, radical feminist LGBTQIA BS, injected into the latest Star Wars TV show, which is going to be the next big thing after The Mandalorian. And all of a sudden she's fired. And this is in the wake of Disney firing a bunch of employees, having like major like financial losses and all this stuff. So I wanted to get your guys' take on this. Do you think that this rumor is true, and why do you think it happened? Gary, do you have any thoughts on this?
I don't think it's true. I want it to be true so bad. So I'm praying for this one to be true. We'll know in the next 48 hours. If Leslye Headland, former Harvey Weinstein assistant, woke biatch and horrible for Star Wars, talking shit about George Lucas, is gone, that would be massively huge news. It would be on Deadline. It would be on the Hollywood Reporter. And if it happens, awesome, freaking great. Because I think we were talking about this on Friday Night Tights last night. I think The Acolyte will be the worst thing Disney Plus has done. Like, bar none. It'll be worse than She-Hulk. It'll be worse than Obi-Wan. It'll be worse than anything. Job security. But as far as I know, could be wrong, is the show is shot. It's shot. So if they shit can it, they cancel her. Fucking awesome. Fire her, where she because she should have never been hired in the first place. But right now, I'm very much at a wait and see, and I find it hard to believe that they would announce the casting of that actor actor. Get that joke there? Sorry, I'm gonna get and then fire her. It's like Disney controls all of their marketing. Okay, there's no factions when it comes to marketing. There's one marketing department. They control all the flow of the information. Sure, there's corporate politics and people fighting and hating each other all the time. That is everywhere. That's fine, but I would find it very hard to believe that they would announce that casting and fire her and then not announce it. Like Leslye Headland wouldn't say anything. Disney wouldn't say anything. Maybe they're getting their PR together. That's always a possibility. Then I would say 48 hours. And usually they like to release that kind of stuff middle of the night, Sunday night, when they've, nobody saw Victoria Alonso getting fired. Nobody saw it. Nobody saw Bob Chapek getting fired. A lot of people said he was going to be around to save stuff. He got fired in the middle of the night on a Sunday. Latondra, our girl Latondra, the CEO of the diversity and inclusivity CEO, was canned. Nobody saw that coming. Oh, sorry, she left in the middle of the week,
right? Crying,
holding her books and stuff from her desk. She voluntarily left. So yeah, we'll see. That would be big news if another. I mean, listen, there's precedence for this. Yeah, I fully agree with you. There's precedence for this. Kathleen Kennedy likes to hire and fire people a lot. She's very good at not being good at hiring. So I could see it, but I just think it would be big news. So I'm going to wait and see.
Yeah, I just can I piggyback on to Gary real quick here and just say, like, I agree. I don't think that it's probably going to happen, because if it does happen, then it opens up the can of worms, right? So now, listen, right now, you can't fire an LGBTQ person of this level. You can't.
Unless you're a woman.
I don't even think you can. I mean, here's the thing: is if they do, it opens up the possibility for other people to do it, because Hollywood works based on fear. Right. So if nobody can do it, right, the moment somebody does do it, now other people can do it. And that'll actually open up the way for there to be less of a power struggle with the people who are kind of controlling the whole diversity element of Hollywood right now, and make it a little easier. And then we can find some balance where we actually bring in people who are good at their jobs. And that's why people get hired, instead of being hired for their sexual, orientation or their skin color. That's what we really want is fairness in Hollywood. And you can't start doing that until you're allowed to fire the people who need to be fired. And so I would like to see it, but I'm with Gary. I don't think it's true.
Isn't it interesting though that this rumor gets put out there, and then all of a sudden they put out there to the websites that this new dude who's a chick is now in this Acolyte movie or Acolyte show. It's like
to distract from it, maybe
to distract. Yeah, exactly.
It's not like they don't do that.
Right.
They do. Like they absolutely will put out opposing. Lucasfilm and Disney are famous for making announcements to get around some bad news. We're going to announce a movie. Hey, Deadpool 3's coming. Yeah, our stock is sucking right now. Like that happens, but the news is still real. It's like they're still making Deadpool 3. And I'm sure they have every intention of casting this person or making this show. And they can always be, like I said in my last video, in this like little gray area, using the access media to keep them in plausible deniability. Right. I get it. But they're pretty incompetent too at this point, and they can't write anything. So you can't announce anything. You can't. An actor strike is coming 6 days from now. So, why would you? She's already been cast. She's already in the show. So I don't know. Alls I know is there's lots of rumors. Listen, we talked about rumors all the time in my comic shop. We Reddit rumors and stuff. Most of this stuff, folks, originates on Reddit. Just saying, it does. I was an avid Reddit user for many, many years. Gave up on them about a year or two ago, but I was on that platform all the time, and some of the stuff was spot on, especially the Game of Thrones stuff. That was usually really, really accurate, and some of it was just wildly inaccurate. And you just have fun talking about it, and that's fine. I have no problem with that. But when it comes to the truth, we just got to kind of wait and see. We got to wait
Well,
and see stuff.
let me put this out there to all of you, because I'd like to hear your opinions on it. One of the reasons that I lend some credence to this rumor, not only does it come from Cameron Pasha, but I have heard rumors that Leslye Headland was angling for Kathleen Kennedy's position at Lucasfilm. And that, Kathleen Kennedy was set to step down after Indiana Jones 5, but because Indiana Jones 5 is going to underperform, Kathleen Kennedy's probably going to want to hold on to her position. And we know how much of a ruthless bitch that she is when it comes to retaining power. So I think that Kathleen Kennedy knew that Headland was making maneuvers to take over Lucasfilm, or at least be her replacement after Kennedy stepped down. And so she fired her in order to protect her own position at the company, which is not uncommon within Hollywood. So I wanted to hear what you guys thought about that.
That's some Game of Thrones shit going on right there, man.
For Lucasfilm, right? This is for
Lucasfilm.
Angling for Lucasfilm, but that means she would be angling with Bob Iger, okay? Because Bob Iger will make that decision. He lords over Lucasfilm now. So, Kathleen Kennedy's the president, but Bob Iger's the big boss. So she'd have to be angling.
But he's an interim big boss, right?
Yeah, but he'd still make the decision, right? And believe me, I think he's out of here. And he's gonna leave.
I wish this had come from Mike Zero and not Cameron personally, because then we would know the truth.
I mean, the thing is, can you put this out of the realm of possibility? No. But she is just a showrunner who was hired. I think Lucasfilm. I think it's Dave Filoni's being positioned to take over. I have heard from very good sources that Favreau's out. Favreau's been done.
What I heard.
He's finishing up. He is going to be partaking writing a little bit of Mandalorian season 4 and then right off because he's over it.
Best thing he can do for himself.
Is he going to go hang out with James Gunn? Is that what he's going to do?
I think Filoni, I don't think he's qualified at all, but I think they're positioning him to at least run Star Wars. Will they put another president in? Leslye Headland is a president. Where is her qualifications other than being a Judas goat for freaking Harvey Weinstein? And that's a hard one to believe.
The chat is talking about getting sold to Apple. Is there any credence to that?
Lucasfilm or Disney? I'm not sure.
Yes,
they can afford them both at this point.
That would be pretty wild, right?
That would be wild. That would be wild. But I will use the words of J. Michael Straczynski when he was talking about Babylon 5. Studios hang on to IPs harder than anything, whether they're using them or not, because it's always, for one, it adds to their studio's value. It adds to the value. And this is a thing, even if we're not making anything, we can make it some day from now. So that's why he's had such a hard time with B5 and other things. I would see Disney selling Pixar before Lucasfilm.
There's also all the licensing that goes along with owning those IPs, which is like free money essentially. Yeah. But I just find it interesting that if it's true that Leslye Headland was kind of angling for the head position at Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy could just say the TV show that she was making was unwatchable. She wasted all this money, basically scapegoat her.
It's a big risk.
And fire her. Yeah.
I'm gonna get hired.
She's done it before.
I'm gonna get hired by she's a snake. She worked for Harvey Weinstein. She was an assistant for Harvey effing Weinstein. And she's in Hollywood. So, pretty much being a snake, you have to be a better snake than a creative person nowadays. That explains Akiva Goldsman too. You just got to be better at the art of bullshit than actual writing these days. And that's part of the big problem.
Amen.
But man, that was one hell of a move to get, beg Kathleen Kennedy for the job, get the job, then go for her job. That's a better show. I'd watch that.
Hey guys, if you like this podcast, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and comment below on your favorite video as well. That goes a long way with helping us boost our channel and get out there in front of more people. And it lets YouTube know that we're doing something right. And if you want to catch us live, we go live 2 times a week, once on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Pacific time and on Tuesdays at 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. So join us there in the chat. We will see you on the live stream. Stay salty.